if you think you're going to do it in your own strength, then you know what? Yeah, you can do it.
COVID, it's been helping people move their businesses from offline or brick and mortar to online.
Systems are more important than skills as an entrepreneur today.
It's totally okay to reinvent yourself.
Yes.
Multiple times, especially when you're an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Profitable Coaching Conversations with WendyY Bailey. If you're a coach, speaker, or industry expert, you're in the right place for sales and marketing wisdom and insight to grow your coaching business. Now, here's your host, income acceleration mentor, WendyY Bailey. Greetings, I am Barbara J. Faison, your meditation ambassador. I'm also a voice actor, meditation guide, and I got the meditation ambassador because of this amazing woman we're about to talk to today, WendyY Bailey, who is not only an amazing business coach, she is a personal friend that I've known for over 20 years now. Mm-hmm. And we are celebrating that she has now done over 160 episodes of her Profitable Coaching Conversations. So welcome, WendyY Bailey, Income Acceleration Mentor.
Thank you so much, Barbara J. And that's what I call you. You call me WendyY, I call you Barbara J.
Exactly.
I appreciate you taking the time to be here, to talk to me, and to lend something truly special to this occasion.
Well, it is an amazing occasion. How many people can say they've done 10 seasons and 160 episodes? So we
15 seasons.
15 seasons, going into 16 seasons and 160 episodes.
Yeah.
I don't think people really realize what it takes to pull that off. You know, I often remind people when you go to a play or a movie, you just enjoy it. You don't think about the behind the scenes that go on. So I know the behind the scenes because I've known you for what feels like forever, and it's a good forever. Yeah. And I just want to bring up something that we'll talk about
because my second book,
WendyY is a 2-time best-selling author as well as an author of 3 books. 4 is on the way. And this one is called I Charge for That. Yeah, and whenever I have my moments of doubts, I remember WendyY in my head saying, Barbara J., you need to charge for that.
Yeah, it's become sort of synonymous with me.
Absolutely.
Because I just see so many people who undercharge for what they do in the marketplace, especially coaches. We want to help people. You know, if we're a strategist, if we're like you're an ambassador, we want to help people in whatever area. And we forget that we deserve to be compensated for the help that we give people.
Exactly. So, I had someone that you referred me to, Rosie Batista, said, I serve, I deserve.
Yes.
And I remember that when I have my moments of, I'm going to give away my services. It's like, you know what? I serve, I deserve. Mm-hmm. And it's true because it is the absolute truth. We deserve to be compensated for what it is that we do.
Yeah. One of my friends coined a phrase that I have adopted. And he says, go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. Then you will be appreciated and compensated.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like
that. Dr. Fred Jones said that to me. And I'm like, you know what? That's going to be mine after I say it a couple more times. Like I always say.
I'm going to lovingly share that with others, right?
Yes, for sure. It's just such a powerful thought because I think that we forget when we're in these service-based industries, we forget that, yes, we're there to serve, but we're also in business. You know, we're not hobbyists. We're there to earn a living. We're there to, as another partner of mine used to say, have living doors with running water. So you got to make sure that you're being compensated so that you can live a life that represents what you deserve and more.
Absolutely. That is so true. Mm-hmm. All of these words of wisdom I have had the pleasure of receiving for over 20 years. So thank you so much for being in my life.
Thank you for being in my life. Yeah.
I am going to ask you some questions that I think people would want to know about the evolution of WendyY, right? Okay. Now, I remember because I've known you forever, it feels like, in a good way. when you were Brilliance in Action, and that
Yeah,
was the first business venture
yeah,
that you had. And I
yeah.
know you are the queen of reinvention and rebranding. So talk about how you've gone from Brilliance in Action to Business Beyond Limits, and what that experience has taught you about yourself.
Wow, so many lessons, so many lessons. When I started my business almost 22 years ago now, I didn't know the name of the business. Like I didn't have a name for it. I felt like it was supposed to have a really profound name. And I just could not come up with anything. And I remember back then working on my first newsletter, an e-newsletter for my business to get people to join my list and things like that. And the name of the newsletter became Brilliance in Action. And when I wrote it down and I said, that's the name of the newsletter, I was like, no, I think I like that as the name of my business. So
Mm-hmm.
Brilliance in Action was born. And, a couple of years in, I incorporated and stuck with that for a number of years until the end of 2015. I had been out of my business due to illness. And when I came back, Brilliance in Action just did not seem to ring true to me. And so the name of my business became Business Beyond Limits. And it's really WendyY Bailey Global Enterprises doing business as Business Beyond Limits.
Right.
And the reason that became so important to me is because when you are in business and you're serving people and you're delivering all kinds of programs and services and products to the marketplace, you've got to think of what happens before you even begin that process. And my personal mantra is mindset is everything. And so given that personal mantra, I knew that sometimes mindset is everything doesn't always ring true if you're going through a cycle of limiting beliefs and dealing with what you're thinking. So Business Beyond Limits became really, really clear to me, like focused clear. Like I could see it like a bell ringing kind of thing.
Yeah.
When I renamed and rebranded and relaunched at the beginning of 2016. And I just have not looked back. This is the business that I'm in. I have a flagship brand that I have that's related to this show I can talk about later. But, when I think of where I am in business and what I'm doing today, I really am helping my clients create a business beyond limits, beyond whatever limits are holding them back and keeping them from charging for high value coaching, doing those, delivering those high value coaching programs and things that really create success in the marketplace. So Business Beyond Limits is kind of where I've been. Let me say this before I move off of your question. I think reinvention and evolution becomes something you want to do when you feel like the name of your business is no longer serving you in the way that you intended. That's a real signal to change the name, to rebrand. And what I did when I rebranded and relaunched my business as Business Beyond Limits, I looked at everything that I had in the way of content, in the way of product services, everything that I did. And I decided from that what stood out. And what stood out for me was business and sales, right? As a business and sales coach, it became really, really clear to me that I wanted to really focus that effort in a way that people who saw me would look at me and know, wow, she does business coaching, she does sales coaching, and there's not a big question mark in their minds about what I can do and how I can serve them. So when you are in a place where you're like looking at everything and you're like, what does this really mean that I do? And you get clarity and focus around that, then you can actually rebrand, rename, relaunch, evolve, whatever you need to do to bring clarity to people in the marketplace.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I've heard you talk about the road of entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
That it's a zigzag.
Mm-hmm.
It's, and I think people sometimes want it to be I'm here and now I'm up here, but it really is a zigzag, right? And I do believe, just as an entrepreneur myself, that it's important that we understand what our tags are, our talents, abilities, gifts, and skills. So I want you to share what you feel your tags are that allow you to, number one, have been able to create such an amazing business, to have clients and coaches and people asking for you to speak places as a keynote speaker, I want to know what your tags are that you bring to what it is that you do.
Well, and not to sound immodest, but I have a lot of them. I have a lot of them. And what I've had to learn to do is to kind of stay in the lane that I'm focused on in the moment, because because we've known each other in a good way forever, that I know how to do a lot of the back end stuff. And I consider myself to be a tech head, but that is not where at the forefront of what I do. So I'm really good at, I think the word is discernment. I can kind of sense where people are and I can serve them based on where they are. I'm visionary because I tend to do things ahead of my time. Even with this web TV show and podcast, for me, I was very resistant to creating another podcast because there's so many out there, right? But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do a web TV show in addition to the podcast, and I'm going to create something unique for the flagship brand that is Profitable Coaching Conversations. And I think that's one of my talents. It's being visionary and then crafting something that supports the vision that I have. I wanted to reach specifically coaches with this. And what I'm finding is not only coaches enjoy the show, strategists, whether they're business strategists or other kind of strategists in the marketplace, mentors, people who are really serving other folks in what I call the transformation industry, really benefit from the show. And so I'm visionary in terms of that. I'm visionary in terms of the topics. I tend to be able to see a little bit ahead of trends. And I have to challenge myself because sometimes when I see ahead of the trend, I talk myself out of it. So I've got to start. I've learned and I'm better at it. I'm not, totally 100% where I want to be, but I'm better at not talking myself out of it just because I see something that other people don't see. Quick story, for years, and you know this, I was known as the group coaching diva because I taught people how to create, design, fill, and deliver profitable group coaching programs using neurolinguistic programming. I started that work around 2006, and I did it for about 7 years until I rebranded and everything. I still teach some of that. A lot of the content is transferable in what I do today. But when I started that and I did it for 7 years, it was clear to me that I was doing more than teaching group coaching. I was teaching business. I was teaching marketing. I was coaching on sales. I was doing all of that, but it didn't have that focus. Well, it's interesting today because I've seen a couple of organizations pop up in the marketplace that focus on group coaching, right? So I was ahead of my time, but I taught myself out of it. I don't have any regrets, mind you. I'm just grateful that I do have those talents that led me to do that for a while and now do this in a way that brings my content full circle and in great focus.
And that is also, I believe, a wonderful skill for an entrepreneur to have, is to be able to see ahead and know, like you said, with discernment, when it's time to make a shift and to be confident with it's time to do it. And I've got the skills to be able to do it. So now I'm going to do it. Right. I think that is very key for an entrepreneur. So I want to just back up a little bit because I think it's important to understand the foundation of how we get to where we are, because you've been doing a lot of things a long time. Tell us about how your sales experience helps you and helped you gain traction in this transformational business that you're in.
Yeah, that. In a previous life, I was a salesperson. I sold copiers. I don't even know if you know that, but I sold copiers in Texas when I lived in Texas 100 years ago, I like to say. And what I learned from that experience was sales techniques, if you will. And in 2006, after, being in my business at that point for about 4 years and kind of reinventing myself and evolving over time to become the group coaching divas when that started, I found out that I had a real gift when it came to sales. I remember attending a conference with a group of coaches, And we had been taught how to go through like a conversion experience with potential clients because we were going to be coaching at a conference. And I remember listening to that and going, wow, I already do a lot of that. I can really, beef up my approach and call it the client conversion approach is what I called it for a number of years. Now, what I teach people is how to orchestrate sales conversations that lead to conversion.
Right.
And what most people don't understand is sales is not about the transaction. It's really about the bond you're creating of trust with the potential client before you even get to the transaction. And that's the hardest part to teach. That's the easiest part to learn because we all have a desire, even if we're introverted, we all have a desire to connect, right? And so when you connect, you build a bond with the person, and then you can see how what you offer can help them. It's not about pushing. It's not about being sleazy or slimy or salesy. It really is about making sure you understand what's going to be the greatest benefit to the client. And that starts with a bond that you establish with them. And then you can orchestrate everything else that leads to the transaction.
Yeah. It's I think the thing that I've heard my whole life is people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And I think that has been, I've been doing life for a long time. And I know since I've been in the business world, it's always been people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And that's where what you're talking about is building that bond and having that level of comfort that people can feel comfortable knowing that they know, like, and trust you. So,
yeah. And I even add the word experience.
Yes.
So know, like, trust, and experience you. When people have an experience of you, then they have a greater, stronger connection with you as well.
Yeah. And that speaks to your visionary state, right? Because we know now, living in the world that we live in with the advent of social media, experience is what it's all about. That's the world we live in. So as we get ready to close this segment, I want to just ask you, thinking about where you come from and where you are now, what's the next evolution of your business, and what can we expect from Profitable Coaching Conversations in the new season?
Wow, that's a big question. So the next evolution of my business, I think you'll see my fourth book. I'm working on it right now. For some reason, I'm having writer's block around it, but I'm going to get there. Yeah. So you can expect to see my next book. Is called Big Wins, how to create productivity, profitability, and sustainability in your coaching business. So that's the subtitle, long subtitle. But it's because I believe in a very simple formula, Barbara J. Profitability plus productivity equals sustainability. And with that formula, you can grow and establish a brand and a business that gains traction every single day. So you're going to see my fourth book come out, Not Wood, And you're also going to see in my business, I've already started the evolution and I've stepped into it where I've streamlined the suite of services that I offer. There's still all services for coaches, but you're going to see me focus my membership platform on my certification program specifically. It's called the Certified Income Acceleration Coach Program. Within the next couple of months, you're going to see more about that coming out. I've already started into a fractional line of business where I serve as the chief operations officer or chief marketing officer or the chief sales officer for a 6 or 7 figure coaching business where they need strategy, they need support to implement. I step in and I do that. And then I always have had a love and continue to have a love for one-on-one coaching. So you're going to see that streamlined as well, where I am offering VIP days and special retreats for a subset of my business. So a small number and a select number of coaches throughout the year. So that's where you can see that. For the Profitable Coaching Conversations show, starting with season 16 in particular, I've always handpicked my guests, but my guests in season 16 and going forward are high level, high value, high earning coaches that I can bring to the audience, and we can learn from their experiences in a really, really profound way. So that's what you're going to see coming up for season 16. And they are, believe it or not, they are predominantly women. So I want to focus.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I want to focus on, really showcasing women who are moving and shaking in the marketplace and doing things at a very high level, high value kind of way. So that's what you're going to see coming up.
Well, I just want to, again, personally congratulate you on your continued success. I know that you'll continue to transform your life as well as offer transformational tools for people in their lives. So when we come back, we're going to ask those 5 questions that WendyY asks her guest. So stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, I'm Dr. Barrett Matthews, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Gina Calvano, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hey folks, Simon T. Bailey. Have you lost your spark? Is a job just a job? Is a relationship just a relationship? Is a business just a business? Well, I've taken the last couple of years to do some deep diving questions and asking myself, did I ever lose my spark? Yeah, I have. And when I lost my spark, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to quit. But I decided that, guess what? When you find your spark, you find your joy. And when you find your joy, you find your people. And when you find your people, you find your voice. So when you find your voice, you connect with people who get you, you tap into your joy, and you become the spark for everyone around you. So I've put together this book, Be the Spark. I'm so happy to bring this to the marketplace because I believe it will become the guide that will give you the kickstart that will enable you to light it up wherever you go. So if you say, Simon, I've lost the spark at home, in business, in life, and you and your friends are saying, you know what, I really want a prescription that is sustainable. And I believe as I share my stories, my pain of what I went through, that you're going to be equipped with tips, tools, and techniques on how you can be the spark. So listen, go to simontbailey.com, get the book, and remember, I love you and I believe in you, and there's not a darn thing you can do about it.
Greetings and welcome back to the Profitable Coaching Conversations Profitable Wisdom segment. So WendyY, it's your turn to answer the questions that we have.
It's funny because
all of your guests.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you say that because, as we were talking before the recording started, I don't know that I have ever answered those questions for myself. So it should be interesting the kind of responses you get from me around these 5 questions.
I'm looking forward to hearing them. Okay, question number 1. Who has been the greatest influence in your life? I think I know the answer, but I'm going to stay tuned.
Well, I'm going to say my parents. Yeah. I thought twice and I said, maybe it's my son, but I think it's my parents. Both of my parents, who are now deceased, were very hardworking. My father was a civil service employee on base for a number of years and always had a side business going on where he was cleaning doctors' offices and attorneys' offices and things like that. And so he had a really, really strong work ethic and wasn't afraid of doing work. And my mom was similarly a hard worker. She went back to work after being a homemaker for years. After I was born, I'm the youngest of 4. And she worked as a nutrition manager in an elementary school. And for years, I saw her get up almost at the crack of dawn and go in and work hard and, supervise people and connect with teachers. And she ended up evolving into doing a side business as well, where she catered. She had a love of food. And I like to say food was her love language because she always wanted it to be, what was the word she used? Plentiful. Plentiful
I
is the
love it.
word
Yeah.
that she
Yeah.
used. And she had a really powerful work ethic as well. And even up until maybe a year before she passed, she was still doing some kind of food for other people to consume. So I'm going to say their work ethic, their profound way of working has really had an impact on me in my life in business as well.
Yeah. And I did not get to know your father, but I got to know your mom, and, wonderful lady. And I got to benefit from her efforts, her entrepreneurial efforts. And your mom would probably be proud that I actually created my own preserves, since I no longer have those coming from
Yes,
her.
yes. She used to
Yeah.
do a lot of canning, and I know when
Yes.
you would swing by, we would make sure you had some. So yeah,
Exactly. And
yeah,
that's a treasured memory for me, sitting there with you and your mom. So,
yeah. Thank you.
all right. Question number 2. What is the best business advice you've received, and from whom?
Wow. There's a lot that I've heard. I'm going to say the best business advice I've received is from one of my personal digital mentors. I've never met him, but I followed his work. Robin Sharma is a peak performance expert and leadership expert. And, I don't know what he calls himself, but he just said something to me that was really profound, and I stuck with it. It kind of supports my mindset is everything mantra. And he says, if you want to raise your coaching fees, if you want to do more in your business, you need to invest in personal development. It's another way of saying mindset is everything. If you want to do anything greater than what you're currently doing or what you've done before, then your mindset has to be elevated. And so you've got to put in the work to do that. Hire a coach, make sure that you're feeding and fueling your mind with the right kinds of information, whether it's books or videos or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. That's been some really great business advice for me, especially since I believe mindset is everything. So whenever I'm, faltering, I'm like, mindset is everything. Go read something, go look at something, elevate your mindset.
Exactly. I think that's excellent. And I'm familiar with Robin Sharma, so I totally understand that perspective. So the third question is, what is the largest single sale that you've made?
I think the largest single sale I've made was when I wrote a curriculum for someone. And it's funny because it's been a few years ago now. And if I had to do it again, I would have altered the number and made it a lot larger than it was.
Put a couple of extra zero on it.
added. I would have added an extra zero and maybe cut that in half so that I felt good about it and he felt good about it. But I took a colleague, a coach, I took his book and I turned it into a curriculum for him to coach other people. And, we developed exercises, we developed all kinds of stuff. And I met him because we were in the same program together, and that's how we initially met. But at the time, I charged him $12,500 to do that. And like I said, I would have added a zero and then cut it in half. And then for the work that I did, I poured a lot of my own intellectual property into it because I wanted to be robust. And his book didn't give a lot of the how-to information, so I wanted to build it out so that it did. And, I think it's important when you are in the marketplace that you participate in other programs because it does give you access to other people. Yes. I've had clients that have come to me like that a number of times. So if you're working inside of somebody else's program, people see you in action, they get to experience you. And let's go back to the know, like, and trust factor. So that when they're out of that program, they still look to you because they recognize your expertise. I don't know that there's another example I have, but that's a pretty good one. Meet somebody in a program, give them the opportunity to kind of see what you can do. And then when they're ready to make a move in that direction, they think of you, you're top of mind for them. Right. But 12.5.
Well, and like you said, know, like, and trust, and they got to experience you by being with you in that class. So adding that E on there, as you mentioned in the last segment, right? Yeah. So that's really, really crucial. And when I think back, because I know that's been a while, can you imagine if you were to do that now, it'd probably be definitely an extra zero, right? In terms of technology and how courses and curriculums have exploded just over the last 5 to 10 years. So definitely.
You say 5 to 10, I think in the last 2.
A
And I
true,
think,
very
you know what I
true.
mean? I think AI has contributed to that as well. People are
Absolutely.
using AI left and right like crazy. And
Mhm.
AI is I don't know, it's not a technology that I fully embrace, but I've seen it where I actually used AI to write a bio of me, and it went and searched the internet, and then I was able to tweak it. And based on tweaking it, it turned out to be something that I thought, okay, that's not bad.
That's not
That's
bad.
not
I'll tweak
bad.
it some more, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I really believe even with the advent of AI and how it has changed and other technology and how they've all changed the marketplace, I still believe that there's a need for a human connection.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you can tell when a human connection is involved.
you can.
You can
You can.
definitely tell when a human is involved. So, yeah.
Yeah, I have to chuckle. I'm doing this online dating thing, which you know about. And I was talking to one of the guys I met on this dating app, and he said, "Yeah, I have to look twice when people post pictures because those AI pictures really do lie about how they really look." And I got tickled because I'm like, yeah, because I saw somebody who did an AI picture, and I was like, "Girl, you look good." And she was like, "Oh, it's my AI portrait." And I was like, wow, you can do some deception around
Right.
that by posting those photos that AI
Yeah.
does. Just a funny story about how AI can be deceiving. So make sure that you maintain that human connection for sure.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm on a site as a meditation teacher and we get to respond, which I love. We get to respond to people that listen to our work. And now they have you can accept an AI response.
Wow.
And actually it's not bad. So
Okay.
someone will
Okay.
say, "Oh, I enjoyed your meditation, blah, 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 blah." And it has two AI generated responses. And I was looking at the responses thinking, well, these aren't bad. Not necessarily what I would say.
Yeah.
And the thing that I realized, like you said, the personal touch is when I am responding to something in my course, I have the ability to leave an audio. And so I
Mm-hmm.
leave an audio. If someone's taking the time to leave a comment in a course I'm teaching, I want to respond with an audio
Yeah.
because they're listening to my voice anyway.
Yeah.
And so instead of doing an AI response, I always respond with the audio because it makes it personal and they know
Yeah.
I
They
created.
know your voice.
They
They
knew
know
it's,
you
yeah,
left that
they knew my
message.
voice exactly.
Yeah.
So that AI thing was quite interesting when it popped up. I was like, "Oh, not bad AI, but I'm not using you for this."
Yeah. 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 Sometimes you have to set the AI aside and go with the human connection.
Right, right, exactly. So you ready for question 4?
I am, and I know what's coming.
So the question is, what helps you when you think of giving up? And we in life, giving up is something that I think we all, have
Yeah.
pop up. So what helps you when you think of giving up?
Well, in almost 22 years, if you can imagine, I've had that thought numerous times of giving up.
I'd say double digits for me, but carry on.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm at least,
At
and I'm
least.
reminded it might even be triple digits. I'm reminded of, I'm a big movie buff, and I'm reminded of this old movie, An Officer and a Gentleman. And one of the main characters, or the main character, is in officer candidate school, and he is really not a team player. He comes in with a chip on his shoulder. He comes in, sort of trying to beat the rest of the guys at every, race, every course. And his drill sergeant, played by the late Lou Gossett Jr., who just passed away recently, is he sees him as this loner who doesn't understand the value of a team. So he singles him out. And when everybody else is on furlough, they've gone away for the weekend or whatever, he's running paces with this guy. He's making him run in place with his rifle above his head. He's making him do, 100 push-ups. He's making him do all these things. And he's trying to get him to quit. And the guy finally says, "Why won't you quit?" Lou Gossett says, "Why won't you quit?" And he says, "I got nowhere else to go. I got nowhere else to go." And that's kind of how I feel about where I am. I don't have anywhere else to go. Every single time that I think of giving up and I'm like, okay, I'm really going to throw in the towel this time, something happens in my business. or some sign comes to me that says you're not to give up. Somebody reaches out or somebody posts something on social media that they credit me with teaching them and coaching them around. I charge for that, for example, comes up pretty often. Or somebody will call me and they'll be interested in my services, or I'll look at what I've already done and I'm like, you know what, I can't walk away. I can't walk away. I just got to roll up my sleeves and jump back in here and everything is going to be all right. And that's how it turns out. That's totally how it turns out. When I was grieving the loss of my mom in 2022, I really just did not feel like doing anything business related. I just didn't. It didn't really hit me until last year. And 2023 was a really, really strong grieving year for me. I'm more than just the losing my mom front, but that just didn't help. And I seriously thought of throwing in the towel. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. And just like I described, somebody called me, somebody said something, somebody asked me, and I stepped into that mode. In my grief support group, I actually am known as the wise one because, first of all, I'm older than anybody there. But also when I talk to them, I step into who I am as a coach and as a mother. You know what I mean? And that kind of stuff tends to shake me from the I'm ready to give up as well. So there are a lot of answers to the question, but hopefully I painted a picture for you so you know.
You have, and I have been on the receiving end of your wisdom, your experience, and just your kindness, because you know that there are many times you said, well, Barbara J, blah, 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 blah. And my response is, I'm not doing all that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And,
yes.
Because of your wisdom and your friendship, I've learned to not say I'm not doing all that, to let me consider. It's something I can
changed it a little bit.
I changed it, or, just, and we know mindset is everything, right? So one of my things, instead of saying I don't care, I really ask myself, the truth is I do care. I just remind myself it's just not that important. So, and you're right. It's just that time when we think I'm done, it's over. Somebody's going to call, leave a message, leave something that's going to remind you of how you are here to share your tags, your talents, your abilities, your gifts, and your skills. And we're grateful that you continue to do that.
Thank you.
Considering life and all of that. All right. So the final question is, what is your greatest accomplishment outside of your business?
Well, this one is another obvious one. It has to be my favorite offspring. That's what I call
favorite.
My favorite offspring. He's my only offspring, y'all, but my favorite offspring, my son, Max. He is, we have over the years had a complicated relationship, but we are still very, very close. I mean, like very, very close. Today is his birthday. In fact, the day we're recording is his birthday. And it just makes sense for me to say he is my greatest personal accomplishment outside of my business, because he used to be a big why for me. And I say used to be because as he's grown and evolved and, become an adult, he's 34 today. So as he's grown and become an adult and everything, it's kind of like, you know what? I can't always continue to be the model to him for behavior because he's out there, doing his own thing and learning his own way of looking for what works for him in his life. But he's still very much a kind and thoughtful, and being that to me says I accomplished what I was supposed to do as a mom. I was watching a video last night, and it said that the greatest indicator of how a child thrives in the marketplace is the mother's well-being and mental health. And I thought, wow, who would have thought that it weighed in so heavily into who our children become. And so for a long time, he was my why because of that, right? But hearing it that way that I did just last night was like, I think I did okay. I think he saw me happy. I think he saw me doing well. I think he saw me having, strong times of mental health. I think he saw all of that. And because he saw all of that, that's why he is kind and thoughtful And, he's got a girlfriend right now, and I just watch them together, and he's so caring and attentive. And, was it her birthday or Valentine? I think it was Valentine's Day. He delivered a message in a bottle to her doorstep. Yeah. Just romantic and just a kind guy. He is definitely my greatest personal accomplishment outside of my business. And happy birthday, boo.
Happy birthday, Maximilian, I like to call him. And because I've known Max for over 20 years, I remember him as a not quite a little, but a young man. And he's always been kind and considerate. And that's to you. That's a testament to how you raised him. So I can believe what you said about the indications of children based upon the mother. So you have done a fantastic job, Miss WendyY Bailey.
Thank you.
As an entrepreneur and as a mother and as a friend and as a human being. So we thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. We're going to take a break and come back. So thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.
Hi there, I'm Robert Kennedy III, and you're tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show with WendyY Bailey. Don't forget to like, comment, review, and subscribe right now so that you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hi, I'm Jody Krangle, and you're tuned into the Profitable Coaching Conversations Show with WendyY Bailey. Like, comment, review, and subscribe now so you're notified when the next episode goes live.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Brian Oles from Black Speakers Network, and you know what time it is. You're tuned in to the Profitable Coaching Conversations Show with WendyY Bailey. I want you to go ahead right now and like, comment, subscribe, and review right now so you get notified when the next episode goes live.
Being a member of a business mastermind can lead to exponential growth in your coaching business and in your bottom line. But how do you know if the mastermind is right for you? The right mastermind offers an opportunity for you to discover new growth insights and proven business strategies while putting them into practice with the right tools to grow and scale your coaching business. The right mastermind connects you to other high-achieving coaches so you can partner and collaborate. The right mastermind guides your efforts to grow and scale your coaching business. In just a few days, I'm hosting an information call so you can discover how to reserve your seat in the Profitable Coaches Mastermind. You can get all the details at profitablecoachesmastermind.com. You're invited to join this group networking and strategy call, and it's absolutely free. And so is the mastermind. That's right, the Profitable Coaching Mastermind is a high-value complementary opportunity for you to discover how to grow your coaching business. It's also a hands-on workshop designed to offer strategy to scale your coaching business. It's also an activation session with implementation tools you can use to grow and scale your coaching business. That's right, the Profitable Coaching Mastermind is totally complimentary. So save your spot so you can discover how to join the mastermind. This is not a sales call. Nothing will be sold. There will be no selling. There will be no offer. It is an opportunity, so save your spot. This is your opportunity for a collaborative interview, and you get to ask questions and get answers. Hi, Income Acceleration Mentor WendyY Bailey here, and I'm so excited about the Profitable Coaches Mastermind. The information call is designed to give you a little bit more information about it and for you to sort of decide if it's the right time for you at this point. Remember, the information call is complimentary, and so is the mastermind. I'm so excited about it because I got to tell you, I have pulled 3 key pieces out of my body of work. We're going to talk in the mastermind about predictable coaching income. We're going to talk about business operations, and we're also going to talk about how you put your productivity into overdrive to create the sustainability in your coaching business. So be sure to sign up for the information call. I'm going to give you all the skinny when we meet, and I hope to see you in the mastermind as well. See you then.
Greetings and welcome back. We have been talking with the amazing WendyY Bailey, Income Acceleration Mentor, and I'm just excited that you're moving into your next iteration of the podcast. So what is it that you want us to know is coming up, or what else would you like to share?
Well, and from our conversation, what I really want you guys to know is anything is possible when you focus on your mindset, because mindset is everything. Like it's my personal mantra. It's what I know to be true. It is what I go to whenever I'm struggling in any area. I know that I've got to elevate my mindset, and whatever it takes to do that, you do. If it takes meditation or journaling or prayer, if you need to run around the block a few times, if you need to run up and down the driveway, if you need to journal, whatever you need to do, you need to focus on elevating your mindset, because it is the secret sauce to your success and longevity as well. I've been here for almost 22 years. I keep saying that because it's no small feat. It has taken me focusing on mindset is everything to really stay the course in my business. It doesn't mean that I've been extremely successful the whole 22 years. It just means I've never given up and I'm still here. And that accounts for a lot. And yeah, I've had those times when I went and got a part-time job, or I went and I worked temp. And then I got to a point where I was like, you know what, if I put that same effort into my business, then I can do wonders. And it always rings true for me, always rings true. And I think it'll ring true for you. I'm so honored to have brought these 160 plus episodes to you. I hope you'll go back and you'll listen to some of them. I hope that it'll become something that you make a part of your regular week. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern on all social media platforms, as well as on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. So there are lots of ways for you to consume this content that we share. And I always bring some awesome guests because I handpick them. For season 16, you're going to look forward to seeing folks like, I think I forgot that I interviewed Donnie Bryant, who's a 9-figure direct response copywriter. That means he's made over $130 million for his clients. Yes, that much money from copywriting. I talked to people like Trina Ramsey, who's a nonprofit beast when it comes to helping nonprofits, really raise the bar in terms of how they think of themselves, and also in business development. That means fundraising as a big part of it. She helps get them in line around that. I talked to Tony Harris Taylor, who is all about drastic results, and that's how she says it. So she's a colleague, a coach, and has been a client as well. Lots of cool things coming up in season 16, and I hope you'll tune in. I hope you'll join us every Tuesday, every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and you're going to get a lot from that experience. Barbara J., thank you so much for being here and being my guest host for the hour.
My pleasure. It's always anything that your name is associated with it, I'm there. You know that. You just ask me and I'll be there. So thank you so much for being a friend and a mentor to me for over 20 years. I'm honored.
Yeah, thank you. And just as an aside, Barbara J. is the voice for the Profitable Coaching Conversation Show. So once I say goodbye and we close out, you're going to hear her voice all over again. And her information is in the show credits. So be sure that you take advantage of the opportunity to engage her if you find that you need a voice actor, a professional voice actor for projects and programs that you're working on. So join us at the after party at profitablecoachingsociety.com. This has been real fun. Thanks again, Barbara J., and thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning into Profitable Coaching Conversations with WendyY Bailey. Be sure to join us at the after party at www.profitablecoachingsociety.com. We'll see you next time for more sales and marketing wisdom and insight from WendyY and her amazing guests. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you know when new episodes are posted.